the interns can afford.
You asked for it. The Toyota Corolla two-door sedan. Probably the most sensible car in the world. 49 highway, 36 city. And you get Toyota durability and reliability at an incredibly low sticker price.
Here's our warehouse and test facility. Let's press the magic button and see what we're rolling out today. Well, after a long wait, looks like the 2020 Toyota Supra is finally here. What's more important, it's finally here in my warehouse and going to be in my driveway this week. It doesn't look like much in the photos, but looks a lot better in person, trust me. Looks pretty good from the rear, too. And we have the Toyota emblem, the Supra emblem, and the GR emblem. I forgot what that means. But now everybody will know what you're driving. Before you plunk down your hard-earned money on a Supra, there are a few things you need to know about it. Number one, it's not really a Toyota as such. In fact, it's not really a Japanese car. It's made in Austria in the BMW Z4 plant. That's because the engine, transmission, and entire platform is basically a BMW Z4. Then we have a Toyota bodywork on top and shipped off to the Toyota dealer. This helps keep production costs down. It also keeps the consumer price down. The Z4 convertible starts at 65 grand, runs around 70 on the average. This starts at 50 grand, and fully loaded up like this one climbs to 56. One factor that contributes to the lower cost, this is a hard top only, no convertible. The Z4 is a convertible, not a hard top. Is it worth the extra 14 grand for the Beamer? I don't know. I don't need a convertible, so I don't care. If you like performance coupes, we also tested the 2020 Lexus LC500 V8 a few days ago. We have a link for that video coming up at the end of this video. We also tested and did a video on the Toyota 86, which costs a lot less money than the Supra. We have a link for that video too. So you're getting 3 videos for the price of 1. This is a 3-liter inline 6-cylinder turbo. BMW says horsepower is 382 with a 0 to 60 time of 3.9 seconds. Toyota says the horsepower is 335 with a 0 to 60 time of 3.9 seconds. I don't know who's telling the truth here, but I do know this will do 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds because I've done it. Fuel economy is rated at 24 city, 31 on the highway with an overall average of 26. We'll be racking up a lot of miles on this to see if that's true. This vehicle has some odd features that other car reviewers have not discussed, so let's take a close look at some of them. Starting with the air scoops. Got one here in front, another one on the hood, another one on the door, and they all have one thing in common: they're fake. Total fake. Now if this was a cheap economy car, you're trying to jazz it up with some looks, I can see. This is a performance car. This is embarrassing. It really is embarrassing. Not good. Number 2, if you watch my videos, you know one of my pet peeves are rocker panels under the door that are way too wide, forcing your leg to drag on the bodywork, get your pants dirty, but this is way over the top. Look how thick this is. Every time I get in this vehicle, I feel like I'm crawling in a hot tub. Well, that's just the way it is. You have to get used to it. You might want to keep a rag handy to keep this clean, or you can let your pants do the job. Next, these are the tiniest sun visors I think I've ever seen. Almost useless. And worse, you can't move them off to the side to block out sun from the side window, which means if you live in the desert, you're going to be baked like a hot potato. I guess you can do something about this after you buy the car, but what is this? I mean, seriously. Naturally, on a car this size, there's no spare tire, so you don't want to get it flat. In case you don't know, this is not a trunk. This is a hatchback vehicle. That means if somebody breaks into your car, they can reach back into the so-called trunk and steal everything. You would think there'd be a divider, but there isn't, so that's the way it is. Since we're talking about the cargo area, there's one thing I do not want in a high-performance car: that's slick carpeting in the cargo bay. Every time I hit the accelerator, all the gear slams against the rear. Every time I take a left corner, all the gear slams to the right. Every time I take a right corner, all the gear slams to the left. This is too slick. That's the bad news. Here's the good news. You take this, turn it around. Now you have a nice rough surface where the gear isn't going to slide all over the place. A little tip from me to you. Since this is a BMW transmission, we get the BMW shifter, which I call the swizzle stick. Over-engineered, over-complicated, too many buttons. You'll get used to it, but don't give the car to Grandma to go to church. She'll never figure it out. On the positive side, you can shift manually with this. Or you can shift manually with the paddle shifters on the steering wheel. 8 gears to choose from. This is a superb transmission, but we'll talk about that a little bit later once we start driving. Since we're spending all this time in the cabin, let's just take a closer look before we move on. Show you some of the positive features. This engine has the so-called fuel saver start-stop system. You come to a stoplight, the engine shuts off, you hit the gas, it starts again in an attempt to supposedly save fuel. Just annoying. Fortunately, there's a disconnect button right here, which you'll be using often to turn that off. On some cars you can't, believe it or not. Below that, you have normal driving or sport driving. Press this, you'll be going off in a hurry, trust me. This car is quick. This makes it quicker. Here's the control knob for the infotainment system. That's rather hard to see because of all the glare we have. Media, menu, map, navigation, options, and this turns for your features. You can change the radio stations with this, or use the buttons down here. And here's the main menu system. I'm getting a lot of glare reflecting off of this, but it looks better in person than it does on the camera, trust me. The gauge cluster is easy to read. Got a bit of glare reflecting, but nothing serious. Large buttons on the steering wheel. Part 1 show and tell is over. Part 2, we'll go out and do some driving. As we're doing all of our videos, we're going to take some mild speed bumps around 20 miles per hour to evaluate the suspension performance and impact. Here comes bump number 1. Pretty smooth. Impressive for a short wheelbase car. Bump number 2. Number 3. And the nasty one. Pretty comfortable. Very impressive. While the suspension is comfortable, I would expect that on a BMW design. These tires are big. You get a bunch of thumping on potholes, nothing serious. Just so you know. These triple beam headlights look pretty fancy. Let's take them out and see if they deliver. Well, they look pretty bright in the daylight. That's for sure. It's dark enough. Let's take these lights out and see what they do. Look pretty bright to me. Here we have the low beams on the building 100 feet away. Very bright light, but a bit low to the ground, especially on the left compared to the right. Here we have the high beams on the building 300 feet away, bright in the center, but not a wide spread at all. Go to low beam, doesn't go very far, around 160 feet, halfway. And there you can see the difference. Here's what the rear view camera looks like in the dark. Not the best quality I've ever seen, but adequate enough considering how dark it is out there. I've been getting 23.5 in mixed commuting, which is pretty good considering the brisk driving we've been doing. We're going to take this out and rack up some more miles. Earlier I mentioned the lane assist. If you take your hands off the steering wheel, the car will steer itself. See here my hands. I don't get it. I don't see the point. And when you take control of the wheel, you change lanes without a turn signal. It fights you every inch of the way. Yeah. A stupid system. Now, if you like it, fine, but I don't want it. And it cannot be turned off. Only reduced in the way it operates. Low, medium, and high. And I have it on low right now. I don't think I can handle it in the high system. Don't like it. We need a disconnect button. But don't get it. Since we're out in the middle of nowhere, let's test these headlights again. These signs are a half mile down the road. And I have the high beams on, lights up pretty good. You don't need a wide spread for that. Now we go to low beam. Disappeared, and this is level ground, by the way. These low beams are okay for city driving, but out in the country, you need the high beams. And in case you're interested, here's our fuel economy on a little freeway trip. One of the problems you have with headlights that don't go out very far is when you're on backcountry roads, you enter dips. The headlights have a habit of disappearing. Now here we're on high beam, but now go to low beam. Look how the road disappears. I got maybe 50, 60 feet. If there is a buffalo on top of this hill, I would never stop in time. And you see how all the signs disappear down the road from high beam to low beam. So far I'm impressed with the car. I'm not impressed with these headlights, not on low beam anyway. If you do a lot of quick driving on curved country roads at night, these low beam headlights just are not going to cut it. I can't see squat around this corner. Gonna need your brights. On the other hand, I cannot complain about the cornering ability. This is definitely a top grade A sports car. Sticks to the road like glue. I've driven a lot of expensive German cars on these back roads, and this will match them all. If you're planning on driving this car to its limit, you better know what you're doing. No room for error at these speeds. Well, I see once again the road is closed because the flood washed the bridge away. That's why you need a good set of headlights. You don't want to crash through that gate. Up to now I was driving in the normal mode, but I put it in the sports setting. Whoa, what a difference. If you're going to drive in the sport mode, you better really hang on. This thing is vicious. See a difference in the exhaust tone too, as well as the shift points. It's a new day. We're going to start by taking this on a 300-mile road trip. So don't go away. We'll start by passing this slowpoke, driving 20 miles per hour under the speed limit. Oh, Oh, this car is fast. If you watch my videos, you know what's coming up next. We have to stop and say hello to Freddy the Frog when we're on this road. For good luck. If you don't, you get bad luck. Big guy, isn't he? Okay. Now we can go. On this trip, we're driving for fun, not fuel economy. Gonna let her rip. The suspension is well designed. It's very smooth and quiet as a rule. Unfortunately, these tires are very rough and noisy, especially when you get on rough pavement. But it's a sports car. That's just the price you have to pay. As I've said in other videos, this is one of the most dangerous roads in the state. Very tight corners, rock slides, drop-offs with no guardrail. People have a way of disappearing out here at night and in the daytime, and they never find the vehicle. Well, years later, perhaps. But not a problem on this car. It's hugging the road like glue. I don't think we're going to have an issue. And I'll put it in sport mode so we can go just a bit quicker. I can say without any reservation, this is the sweetest engine I've driven in decades. And this combined with the excellent transmission makes the entire combination flawless. Somebody definitely did their homework. No doubt about that. The manually operated paddle shifters work great on this car, great fun to use, but if you want maximum performance, just keep it in the automatic mode. The computer is very smart, always knows what gear to get in, upshift, downshifting, you can't outsmart it. It's smarter than you. If you want maximum turning ability and performance, keep it in the automatic mode. I stated earlier in the video, this car has fantastic cornering ability, and I'll say it again. This car has fantastic cornering ability. Hard to beat. We're going to take a break here, and I have some thoughts for you, all you trolls out there who've been getting on the internet complaining this vehicle does not have a manual clutch-operated transmission. Just quit posting. There's no way a clutch-operated manual transmission can beat these paddle shifters, just like there's no way these paddle shifters can beat the automatic transmission. The computer in this gearbox is too smart. It'll always shift better than you, and that's just the way it is. I know this because Toyota sent some of these Supras to the Bondurant School of Racing last month. I did a lot of laps around the track. If you want to win, you put it in the sport mode, automatic mode, and hit the gas and go. Manual just doesn't cut it with this turbo engine. It prefers the automatic. Putting a manual transmission with a clutch in this car would be a total waste of money. So what's my take on this Supra after a week of driving? Well, I have two things to say. Number one, if you eliminate all the fluff options, you get this car for 50 grand flat, which is substantially cheaper than the BMW version at 65 grand flat. So you're getting good German engineering at Toyota prices. If you don't think that's a good deal, there's something wrong with you. And secondly, in this price bracket, 50 grand and under, even 55 grand and under, there's nothing that can really touch it. Yeah, the Mustang GT, Camaro SS, Challenger SRT, Kia Stinger. They're nice cars, don't get me wrong, but if you race this on the street, you're going to lose. That's especially true if you're racing around corners. Overall, the Supra is an excellent car and worth every penny. Enough said.